All right, stand by. 10 seconds to go.
Talent.
Ready, camera.
Three,
Cue talent.
2,
One.
1. Roll for record.
Who's going to be our next president? I'm John Phillips, and that's the big question at the top of our rundown. We're in the middle of the strangest, most exciting, frustrating, interesting, and potentially transformative election in living memory. We've covered the primaries, the caucuses, the controversies, the fights, the accusations, the lies, the insanity, and that's just at the PJTV Christmas party. But let's get back to the big question. Who is going to win the nomination? And after that, who's going to be the next president of the United States of America? Joining me, as always, is author and political satirist Scott Ott from his home studio in Dallas, Texas, and here in Southern California, stand-up comic and PJTV contributor Stephen Cruiser. All right, Cruiser, you're batting leadoff. Look into your crystal ball and tell me what's going to happen.
I was trying to do a Karl Rove whiteboard thing, but I didn't get it done in time because I didn't think about it until the I was trying to do this whole thing, and all I got was the Cruz part down first. But here's, God, and I hate myself for saying this, but here's what I truly believe is going to happen.
Okay.
Cruz, second ballot at the RNC. Trump jumps, goes third party. Hello, Hillary in November. That's what I think is going to happen. So I think that's how it's going to. I think that's how the nominating process is going to go. It's a done deal with Hillary for the Democrats because the fix has been in there all along.
Yes.
I mean, with their superdelegate thing and their magic fairy dust and the unicorn that bestows favor upon people, however they do it over there. But I really do think that Cruz will pull off a second ballot victory at the RNC, and then Trump will be out of there so fast. The revolving doors will be doing like one of those cartoon things.
But is there enough time, logistically speaking here, to find real estate on the ballot, to find some third party that hasn't nominated someone yet, and get on the ballot in all of these 50 states?
Well, no, I don't think so unless somehow unless the libertarians decide they need a benefactor. Things could change in a hurry. But but no, I don't know if he could get on the ballot. See, that's the thing.
Because the convention is deep into the season.
Yeah, that's the problem with that. But I think again, I think that even if Trump doesn't go third party, I think most of the Trump people aren't sticking around to vote for whomever the eventual nominee is there, unless Kasich somehow comes through in a broker convention. I really don't see them. This has been so bitterly partisan, and so much everybody's invested so much into their one guy that I feel a lot of sitting home coming in the fall.
All right, Scott, put on your Johnny Carson turban. Tell me what's going to happen.
Well, I tend to think that Cruiser may be right. I mean, I'm hopeful that the Republican delegates on a second ballot or third ballot will wake up and smell the Constitution and remember that that's why we all got into this in the first place. I think that even though Trump would be inclined to say the Republican Party treated me badly, unfairly, and so therefore I feel no compunction about going out and mounting a third-party bid, the problem is that Trump doesn't have a ground operation anywhere, and not only, as you correctly stated, finding real estate on the ballot is difficult, finding a party that you can represent, but there are some states that have sore loser laws that say you can't. So, if you run as a Republican and fail, you can't get on the ballot. And so that's a further complication. And believe it or not, I'm not one of those people who says, hey, whether Ted Cruz or Donald Trump gets nominated, Hillary Clinton will beat both. I really think that because Cruz is a movement conservative, that a lot of people who have previously laid dormant during such elections will come out of the woodwork and say, you know what? We finally nominated a guy that actually believes what the party says it stands for. We'll get behind him. I frankly don't know if Donald Trump can beat Hillary Clinton, simply because I was wrong about every other thing about Donald Trump. So, if you go back to the beginning, nobody thought that he would get this far. However, my prediction, if I had to go on record and say, my prediction is a Donald Trump nomination, a Hillary Clinton presidency.
This is a tough one. I think that Donald Trump is going to win the Republican nomination on the first ballot. I think Hillary already has the Democratic nomination all wrapped up. And Rudy Giuliani was on Morning Joe a couple of days ago and said something that I think is a true statement. He said, if it's Ted Cruz against Hillary Clinton, Cruz is effectively a fastball right over the heart of the plate. We know exactly who Cruz is. We know exactly what Cruz thinks on all the issues. We know exactly what tactics he would use in a general election scenario against Hillary. And they've run against those types of Republicans before. They're used to running races against those guys. Donald Trump is a curveball in the dirt. Nobody knows what to expect. Hillary Clinton is a candidate who has a glass jaw. Whenever she has an actual contested election, she falls apart. She's been able to win elections where she's had a walk, when Rudy Giuliani got cancer and she ended up with Rick Lazio, or where she ran against the mayor of Yonkers.
Got cancer. Like she didn't give it to him.
Or if you look at the 2008 race, when Barack Obama really took it to her, she collapsed, and she was a heavy favorite. She was supposed to crush him. He was a guy who wasn't even in the Senate for a full term. He was not supposed to come up from behind and beat her, and she lost. So I say it's Hillary for the Democrats, it's Trump for the Republicans, and I think that Trump beats her in the general, but it's the craziest election that we've seen in our lifetimes.
I think that'll be a war of attrition. It'll be like who stays home the most. I think that's what's going to happen if it's a Trump-Hillary thing. I think they'll both, because there are 7 women in America who are going to vote for Trump, and they're all working for him. And then so that's not going to work out well for him. He's polling so horribly with women right now, it's unreal. And they're all going to get, and then that historic first thing will kick in for the Democrats. That's the thing I don't like. The Democrats tend to turn out in droves, even after a cult of personality thing, if they can get one of their historic first things going on. And that's what worries me the most in this election, is they might, I keep thinking that Bernie has fractured them and they won't rally, but for the historic first thing, they may very well go flip right back into hive mind mode.
You know, if you take New York out of the equation, Bernie won what, 7 out of 8 or 8 out of 9? He had a string of victories together. And I think part of why Bernie started to catch fire is he changed the nature of his attacks on Hillary. And Scott, maybe you can weigh in on this, but I think this is a key moment and a key part of the storyline here. His initial attacks on her were that she was too close to Wall Street, that she takes too much money from the big bankers, and that we can't have an honest broker in the White House if they take that kind of campaign cash. He then changed the line of attacks to, she is fundamentally a dishonest person, and that's when things started to go south for her. The Republican, whoever it may be that's going to be running against her in the general, is not going to run against her attacking her for taking Wall Street money. They're going to go back to that successful narrative that she is a fundamentally dishonest person, and I think that's her Achilles heel.
Yeah, and I think Bernie Sanders, frankly, has to decide whether he wants to be influential in the future of this country by pushing Hillary Clinton to the left, or if he wants to be president of the United States. And if he finally has decided, which it seems that he has in the way he's changed his rhetoric, that he actually wants to win this race, then I think it is fundamentally dishonest for Bernie Sanders not to challenge Hillary Clinton on her honesty. I mean, obviously, Hillary Clinton comes into this race with all the advantages of incumbency, even though she's not the incumbent. So Bernie Sanders has to make a sound argument to people as to why they should fire the incumbent, in effect. He has to say why you should not vote for Hillary. It's not enough to just say, hey, aren't I adorable and socialist? Why don't you vote for me? He's got to give people a reason to say no to her. He started to do that. If he hangs on, who knows? Maybe, I mean, I think the long shot is you've got to stay in a race like this because you never know when the indictment's going to be handed down.
Susan Sarandon is a big supporter of Bernie Sanders.
Yes.
And she went on The View this week and she said, if it ends up being Hillary and Donald Trump, I don't know who I'd vote for in the general. Is that just Susan Sarandon expressing frustrations from a very bitter and very hot primary? Or do you think that there are other Bernie Sanders supporters that are going to be in that position in November?
I think, as I said earlier, if the historic first thing doesn't kick in, the Bernie Sanders people are not going to like Hillary Clinton. They're not going to turn out in droves for her. I mean, she's even admitted it now. She's a horrible candidate. She's not a likable person. She's taking advantage of this rigged system. I mean, she'll probably win California, and I see no support for her anywhere in Los Angeles or Santa Monica. It's all Bernie stickers on the west side of LA right now. Bernie, Bernie, Bernie everywhere right now. I haven't seen any Hillary stuff at all. I haven't met any Hillary people, and I'm like swimming in Democrats all day long. And so but she's still going to win, and that I think that their system actually is kind of rigged. I mean, we knew what the rules were, but it's still kind of rigged when the party in the end can say, okay, you need to go do this. And I think that is going to create a lot of bitterness with the Bernie people who already view life as fundamentally unfair. I mean, that's their default mode. It's not going to get better.
All right. Stephen Cruiser gets the last word on this subject, but now it's time to find out what you think. Who is going to win the presidential nomination? And after that, who's going to win the election? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as you probably know by now, it's time for us here at The Rundown to wrap things up. This is our final episode. We've enjoyed every minute of our time together. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, but it's always fun, and we work with some great people here at PJTV. And we'd like to take a moment now to tell you how you can keep in touch with us once we go away from The Rundown. So, Cruiser, where can people find you?
I will cease to exist as soon as the lights go dark in this studio. No, I am nothing without attention. No, I'm going to keep writing full-time over at pjmedia.com, and I will be doing quite a bit of that in the next few months. So follow me over there. My new website isn't ready to go yet. I'm working on it, but I'm working on a tour for the end of this year, the beginning of next year now, too. But I will not stop writing for pjmedia.com. In fact, my output's about to increase.
And all of the nudity on your website is artistic. We need to point that out.
I'm a pretty man, John. I'm a pretty man.
Scott,
Scott.
Where can we find you?
Well, I'll be writing for pjmedia.com as well. And then Stephen Green and Bill Whittle from PJTV are going to be moving our Trifecta show over to billwhittle.com. So you can go there, billwhittle.com. I'm on Twitter. It's Scott_Ott. And also I do have a website that has no nudity on it and has been up for some time, where my other products can be found. And that is at scottott.tv.
As for me, you can hear my radio show every day on Talk Radio 790 KABC in Los Angeles, or online at kabc.com. I'm on from 3 to 6 with my partner Jillian Barbary. You can also find me on Twitter at JohnnyDon'tLike, or catch me talking about politics on CNN from time to time. I'm John Phillips, and for all of us at The Rundown, thanks so much for watching.